Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you know how we do it over here every day. I mean, every day. We do our shout outs first. So I'm going to play this beautiful bean footage and we'll talk on the other side. All right, y'all, I want to give a quick shout out to my girl, Kat Harlem. Yes, the coolest. She decided to come on through. She is so faithful and so kind and so smart. She absolutely makes this tribe better just by her presence. So thank you, Kat. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being the coolest and thank you for being here. And Hilda T came through. Yes, Hilda T is so kind, so sweet, so faithful. She will hold you down. She is absolutely 10 toes down when it comes to the read. And I am so grateful and so over the moon to have her as a part of this community. So thank you, Hilda T. Thank you for coming through and thank you for being here. And my girl Tiger Mommy came through. Tiger Mommy is just everything. And she knows she's everything. She is. She is so kind, so faithful, so wonderful, so smart. I could go on and on and on. I could. Tiger Mommy is the best. So thank you, Tiger Mommy. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here. And Berkeley Melrose came through. Yes, Berkeley Melrose is my girl as well. So smart. Oh my goodness. If you see some of her posts, please read them because I promise you, you will learn something and you will get some insight. I'm telling you, she is everything. She is so kind, she's so sweet, and she is smart as well. So thank you, Berkeley. Thank you for coming through. And thank you for being a part of this community. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and that's exactly where I have been. And we have a lot to talk about as usual. Yes, we're going to talk about Harry. Harry had some more engagements that we didn't know anything about. He went to the Fisher House over there at, what is it, Queen Elizabeth's Hospital. Yes, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the aftermath of the reunion. And we're going to talk about this video that I'm going to play for you. And it just absolutely just reveals how batshit crazy these people are. These flying monkeys, they are crazy. And we're going to talk about, oh, crazy Tom Thumbhead Sykes. He has been talking to Willie. Yes, Willie has cried his whole cup full of salty tears and took him over there to Tom Sykes. And I'm telling you, he has wrote another batshit crazy article. That's the only way I can describe these people is batshit crazy. These people are crazy. They are totally unhinged. I cannot with these people. And it would be funny if it wasn't dangerous. They talk as if Harry and Willie are living in the 14th century. Very strange, very dangerous, and it was on the BBC. BBC is having people like this talking so reckless. To me, it's so irresponsible, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Wilmington, and y'all know Kitty showed up and tried to make it all about her. You know, every time Meghan is just with Harry, just supporting her husband, And the biggest knock against Megan is always that she tries to make everything about her. Y'all know that whole thing, Megan, me again. Yes, that Willie and Kitty's staff made up that name and then the Flying Monkeys just took it. It was all projection because the only person who is trying to make everything about them is Kitty. And the reason she's trying to make everything about her is because she knows she is a poser. She is an imposter. She's mediocre. She knows it, but she's trying to fool people into believing she's not. So what does she do? She overcompensates and makes everything about her. And we're going to talk about an article from Tom Thumbhead Sykes. He is out here in these social media streets talking real reckless. I guess Willie has made his way over there to him with his cup of salty tears. And of course, he has written another unhinged article over there on his Substack. And I'm going to tell y'all, if this is true, and he got this from Willie. It is some serious mental health issues over there at Kensington Palace. Willie is in the throes of a psychosis, and it is triggered by his brother and his brother's wife. I'm telling you, it is some crazy shit coming out of Kensington Palace. After just reading some of the excerpts from this article, I am convinced that Harry and Meghan has driven Willie and Kitty to the brink of insanity. These people are crazy, for real. Harry and Meghan's mere existence and their success and who they are as people, they have driven Willie and Kitty certifiably insane. And I just don't know what's going to become of them because they are not normal. It is something going on with those people because if they really believe the stuff that Tom Thumbhead Sykes put in this article, then all of them are crazy as run over dogs. But we're going to talk about it. And of course, I'm going to have some other things sprinkled in there. Yes, I have some news about Invictus. I have some news about Megan. And y'all know how we do it over here. Yes, y'all need to lock in and understand. I'm not going to keep you long, but I will keep you entertained. And we're going to start with this. And everybody is still reeling about Prince Harry's visit to the UK and pretty much how he knocked it out of the park. In my last video, I described it as Prince Harry pulling a victory out of the jaws of defeat. And don't get it twisted, that's exactly what their plan was, for him to be defeated, to be humble, to be humiliated. And Harry was having none of it. When you're a winner like Harry and Meghan, you can't help but to win. And that's exactly what Harry proceeded to do, win. They had it all laid out how they were going to shame him, how they were going to make his whole trip a disaster. And it ended up just the opposite. He created iconic moments and memories, and I'm telling you, it was so great. And one of the most iconic moments that he created was his interview with Alison Hammond for, I think, at ITV This Morning. I think that's the name of the program. And let me tell you, people are still raving over it. Look what Huffington Post said about it. It says Alison Hammond's Prince Harry interview is a strong contender for TV moment of the year. Yes, Harry is out here creating moments of the year. He is like that. And he doesn't go out. It's not something intentional with him. He's just out here being himself. And that's the reason it doesn't look stiff. It doesn't look stale. It doesn't look like it's a pantomime, like the other two over there. It looks natural. It looks spontaneous. It looks real. Why? Because it is. And SK said that was a masterclass. It was. It was a masterclass at being yourself when you're a winner. Yeah, because when you're a winner, you're going to win, right? And it was just so funny and so sweet. It was. It was such a good interview. And like I say, it was all spontaneous. Allison is such a real person, and Prince Harry is such a real person. And when the two met, it was magic. Yes, and people can't get enough of it. And I'm going to put this one up, and they're talking about Prince Harry and Allison as well. It is a repost, and the original post says, fans are already calling Allison's interview with Prince Harry a contender for TV moment of the year. Social media users praise Allison's trademark warmth and authenticity for bringing out a relaxed and candid side of the Duke of Sussex. And the squatty that reposted this said, this interview is buzzing all over social media and is being noticed for the effect it had on the audience. Well done, Allison. And this right here is why they want to keep Harry out of the UK. Because when Harry shows up, he reminds the people of why they love him so much. The smear campaign paints a picture that is a caricature of Harry and Meghan, not the real Harry and Meghan. And when people see them in settings like this, being interviewed by someone who is not biased or having an agenda, then Harry and Meghan shows who they are. They don't have to be on their guard. They can just be themselves. And this was Harry just being himself. And the British public loved it. And they fell in love with Harry all over again. This is why they want to keep Harry out of the UK. And it's the same thing for Meghan. That is the reason why they didn't want Meghan to do any public engagements, because they knew she would knock it out of the park. They knew that Meghan would remind the British people of what they have lost, just like Harry did. Harry reminded them of what they had lost, which turns out to be a whole lot. Yes. And this squatty said the last few days of Prince Harry in the UK must surely be a reminder to all of those with a brain that this man and prince continues to dedicate his life to service, universal service. He's fully committed to his charitable work, and unlike the unrolls, do not focus on PR. Prince Harry, thank you. Yes, he knocked it out of the park, y'all. They tried to sabotage him, and Harry was like a phoenix and rose from the ashes. Yes, he did. I know I'm being a little dramatic, aren't I? I know, but I love Harry. And this squatty right here posted about Harry going to the Fisher House, and it's at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. They say this: while in Birmingham, Prince Harry visited Fisher House at Queen Elizabeth Hospital, where he reunited with triple amputee veteran Josh Boggy, with the nurse who helped save his life. Harry praised the doctors, the nurses, families, and charities who support wounded service personnel, saying recovery isn't just about healing physical injuries, it's about restoring confidence, rebuilding lives, and keeping families together. And he also found Kate. Yes. I am just loving these pictures that are coming out of this whole visit. They are just, how should I say? Iconic. They are iconic. Look at these pictures. Speaking of iconic pictures, I mean, wow. This is so amazing. Chris Byron Smith posted this and said Prince Harry's visit to Fisher House at Queen Elizabeth's Hospital In Birmingham, the Duke joined veterans, including triple amputee Josh Boggy as he reunited with squadron leader Lauren O'Dell, the young nurse who saved his life. Wow! Amazing! Amazing. I'm going to play this little clip of Harry at Fisher House, and we'll talk on the other side.
So Fisher House, it's been a big part of a lot of injured soldiers' lives.
It's so world class, the treatment that you get there. It really puts Birmingham on the map, I think.
I was over the road in Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I was getting the news every day that something else had happened or something else had gone wrong, but to come here to have a break from all that meant such the world to not just me but the family as well.
If it wasn't for the staff here, a lot of the guys and girls wouldn't be where they are now, they wouldn't have recovered. So I think it's going to be great that people realise what a fabulous facility they have here.
To have the Duke come visit Fisher House, I think it's really important. A lot goes on behind the scenes that people don't realise, but it's so beneficial to the people who use these services.
I'm looking forward to Birmingham getting all behind it because it's a massive thing.
It's great to see servicemen and women coming together and competing, but also the camaraderie between ourselves and every other nation that are going through the same kind of thing, so it's going to be a good spectacle to see.
Anybody who's had to come through the doors of the QE knows how important Birmingham is. So I think having the games here in Birmingham is going to be so special to a lot of people who's going to take part, because essentially I think it's going to be like they're coming home.
And the squatty that posted that beautiful, beautiful clip from Invictus said this: the royal family quickly abandoned most of the Queen's charities just 6 weeks after her passing. Prince Harry visiting the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is his way of paying homage to his grandmother, the Queen. The leftovers just want a statue paid by taxpayers. And that is so true. That is so true, because the Queen had, 300 or 400 patronages, and they didn't want to have anything to do with any of them. But y'all remember when Harry and Meghan left, the few patronages that they had, they hurried up and scooped them up. They wanted Harry and Meghan's few little patronages. They wanted them. They wanted what Harry and Meghan had. They didn't want what the Queen had. They wanted what Harry and Meghan had. And that is so telling to me. They haven't even given this hospital a second thought since the Queen died. None of her patronages. None of them. They don't want to have anything to do with them. Now, I do believe that Charles maybe picked up some of the Queen's patronages. It seems like I read an article somewhere that he did. If you know, put it in the comments, but I don't know for sure. But I know the rest of those left behinds hadn't. No, they were too busy fighting and scrapping over the few that Harry and Meghan had. I know Kitty and Willie don't have that many. They maybe have a handful. And they never, ever, ever go and do anything for them. I mean, not like Harry. Harry works for his patronages. He is always pouring into them. These people, you are lucky if you get them to show up once in 5 or 6 years or so. Y'all remember when Kitty was on the phone with one of her patronages and they aired her out on national television? They did. And made it known that she hadn't been there or saw them or spoke to them in about 7 years. Y'all remember that? And she was so embarrassed. Yeah, it's very, very sad. But this is a wonderful thing that's going on at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. This squatty said Harry did so much in such a short period of time. So glad he was able to visit Queen Elizabeth's Hospital and visit staff and patients there, as well as a Fisher House. Truly such an amazing video. And look at how everyone took so well to Harry. Well, we all know everybody loves Harry. And this is a repost, and the original post said, I do feel for the charities and foundations that lost Prince Harry as their patron. Meanwhile, Scotty's Well Child and Invictus seems to be having all of the fun. Yes, but they made Harry give up those patronages. And the squatty that reposted this said, also, those charities and foundations did not want Harry to leave as patron, but the British royal family said they should. And now they're stuck with patrons who do not show up, do not care, etc. Exactly. And a lot of them who had Queen Elizabeth as their patron do not have a royal patron anymore. And it is nobody trying to take her place. When that old lady died, they were done with everything that came with her. They never talk about her. They rarely say anything about her. The only time you ever hear about Queen Elizabeth II is when one of those flying monkeys or somebody in that family want to pull her out of her box and beat Harry and Meghan with her. Other than that, they never even bring her up. It is crazy to me, but it's true. And this came from Fox News. Yes, Fox News, a Murdoch entity. It says Prince Harry's Invictus Games show the asset the British royal family lost. Experts. Yes, and the squatty that posted this said, one word, duh. Yes, duh. And I want to talk about this article from Tom Thumbhead Sykes. And I'm telling you, when you think of unhinged, you should think about this article because it is truly, truly unhinged. And he wrote it for his Substack. And the title of the article is Blood is Blood, says the King's Camp. And of course, I didn't go over there and read it. I absolutely would not give him a click or a view, but Kaiser over there at Celebici, she wrote an article about the article. And so that is what we're going to get into. And her title is Sykes. Prince William is appalled by his father's betrayal by meeting with the Sussexes. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. It is some mental health issues over there at Kensington Palace. And I really think it's it's more dire than we anticipated. Yes, I think they have descended into madness over there. Willie is going to be as crazy as his great, 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 great grandfather, King George, because he is descending into madness. You cannot convince me of anything else, because if it's true what Tom Thumbhead Sykes is saying in this article, Willie crazy. But let's get into the article, and it starts out like this. It says, over the weekend, the Times, Roy Nicka had a piece about the Highgrove Summit. That's my rage bait nickname for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex taking their children to Highgrove, where they all spent time with King Charles and his horse. Nicka seemingly got an extensive briefing from Charles staffers, some of whom are weary of Harry and Meghan, and some of whom are more realistic. Let's say clearly. The old school royalists are shocked that Charles actually capitulated in such a huge way, just days after Charles took a hard line and refused to give Prince Harry housing in the royal residence. Well, I covered the Times piece earlier, and then I read Tom Thumbhead Sykes. Now, she didn't say Tom Thumbhead Sykes, but I always address him like I absolutely see him. It says analysis of the Times piece, and everything he saw as he stalked Prince Harry's Invictus events in Birmingham on Friday. There are a few interesting morsels of gossip in here, plus some very Prince William significant rage tantrums. Highlights. First one is the prodigal son. I have previously reported that the king has drawn inspiration from the parable of the prodigal son, but the prodigal son rehearsed his apology on the road. Father, I have sinned, and the repentance came first. The fattened calf came second. Harry has skipped the apology, and Charles went straight for the calf bits. So they're saying that Harry did not apologize. And I always say, for what? For what? What do these people think Harry owes any of those left behinds, including his father, an apology for? They are the ones who have been hurt, him and Meghan. Those people over there are the people who have been doing the hurting. Yes. And if you wanted an example of that, all you had to do was to look at what went on last week with Harry, how they tried to sabotage him, how they tried to humble him. I don't see where Harry should apologize to anybody, but it is a lot of people that owes Harry and Meghan an apology. Yes. So I guess maybe they just called it a truce and moved forward. And I'll just say this. Y'all remember, I can't remember which interview Harry did, but Harry said if him and Meghan had done anything, they would gladly apologize. But when he asked them what they had done, they never had an answer for him. Why? Because they know Harry hadn't done anything. He hadn't done anything that any of those people over there hadn't done or worse. So miss me with this whole apology bullshit, because Harry and Meghan didn't owe an apology to anybody. They have not intentionally hurt anybody. If they were hurt, it was only because they had hurt Harry and Meghan, and Harry and Meghan spoke on their hurt. I mean, I don't understand how these people feel like they can treat you like garbage and you're just supposed to suck it up. It makes no sense. Ridiculous. The next one is entitled Charles Incentivized and Rewards Harry's Behavior. It says, if you set out to design an incentive structure to teach Prince Harry that transients work, you could not improve on what the king did this week. If you want to encourage a renegade son to keep behaving exactly as he has been behaving, this is precisely how you do it. That is so crazy. What has Harry been doing? Now, Harry has aired them out on their behavior. Maybe if they change their behavior, Harry would change his. But they never think that way. They never think logically about anything. And they don't want to make an effort to change themselves, improve themselves in order to improve relationships. It's crazy to me. These people are lizard people. When things should be about them, they make it about other people. But when it's about other people, they make it about them. They are upside down in their thinking. They always want people to adjust to them, and they don't want to make any adjustments. And that's the reason why they are stuck. And they are stuck in the past, in tradition, in the bullshit. They are stuck. I mean, they are up to their necks in it. And this one is called Doves and Hawks in Buckingham Palace. It says, as I have explained before, there are two camps in the King's court. The Hawks, led by Clive Alderton, and that man right there, I would get rid of him if I was Charles because he thinks too much of himself. He actually thinks that his opinion is supposed to mean more than Charles's own flesh and blood. And that is where Charles has gone wrong, to put these people in position where they could separate him from his son. Because in actuality, Harry is the only son that loves him because Willie hates him. Harry loves him, and he has put this man in a position to be in his ear to separate him from his son. And the same with Willie over there at Kensington Palace. They're all in his ear, poisoning his mind against his brother, the one person who loves him unconditionally, doesn't want anything from him, and his mind is being poisoned against him. I don't know. It might not take much to poison Willie's mind because his mind is absolutely psychotic. But I digress. Led by Clive Alderton, who agrees with William that Harry should not be allowed anywhere near the king and regards it as their duty to protect the sovereign from his own softer instincts. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? This is the kind of life that these people lead. They have people who are not their blood separating them from their blood, painting their own child as the enemy. I cannot. This is why I say these people are lizard people. They are. It is nobody who could separate me from my child. They allow these people, these so-called personal secretaries and courtiers, to separate them from their blood. It is crazy. And Willie is over there at Kensington Palace, and the very same thing is going to happen to him and his family. They are going to separate them. All of them will be against one another. Why? Because all of these people have something to gain when they are all separated. They all want power. They all want position. That is the reason why I say it time and time again. It is not a family. They should not call it the royal family. They should call it the royal firm, because at the end of the day, it is business. It is not about a family. And that is the sad part about the whole thing. And that is the reason why the royal family should be abolished. But I digress. It goes on to say, and the doves clutter around Theo Rycroft, the man being lined up to succeed Alderton when he goes, which could be within a couple of years. By Friday, the doves, led ultimately by the king himself, had won, but the hawk's fingerprints are everywhere. I would not be surprised to see departures from the king's staff over the coming months as a result of all of this. Some aides are very, very unhappy. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Staff is very, very unhappy because their boss decided to see his blood son and his blood grandchildren. I mean, you can't make this up. These people are crazy. This is cray-cray on a whole new level. I cannot get my head around it. Y'all tell me what y'all think about how invested these people are in their principle, to the level that they would be willing to quit their job because their principal decided to reconcile with his son. This is why Charles and Willie are so weird. They have all of these cray-cray people in their ear jockeying for positions. It is all about power and position for them. And if all this is true, I understand why Meghan could not exist in this space. What sane person could exist in this space? surrounded by these crazy people who in actuality think they are the sane ones. I mean, you start questioning if you're crazy. That is the reason why Meghan was having unaliving thoughts, because she was questioning her own sanity. When you are in a crazy environment, you start thinking you're the crazy one and everybody else is normal. But in actuality, you're the sane one. They're the crazy ones. And Meghan had to get out of there as fast as she could. And how Harry existed in that space for so long, I don't know. I don't know how he did it, but he made it out a sane individual and a good person, which is extraordinary when you think about it. It goes on to say, all this unfolded. The heir to the throne was playing polo at Guards Polo Club in Windsor. The Princess of Wales in the stands. The pair of them laying on more public displays of affection than we have seen in years. The brothers have not spoken since the late Queen's funeral. George, Charlotte, and Louis have no relationship whatsoever with their Californian cousins. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm good with that. Yes, because we have saw the children that have come out of that institution, with the exception of Prince Harry. And they all have been lizard people. Now, I'm not saying George, Charlotte, and Louis are lizard people at present, but eventually they will be lizard people. And wasn't it funny how he mentioned that Willie and Kitty had more displays of public affection than they have had in years? All I can say to that is, I wonder why. Yeah, mystery there. The next segment is called William is Appalled. It says, as I reported this week, William is appalled by what he regards as his father's betrayal. And that word betrayal, to use it in the context of your father having a relationship with your brother, is totally and complete insanity. And it goes back to what I said earlier, surrounding yourself with all these cray-cray people. And you start talking like this, you start thinking like this. It becomes a culture of your environment. This is what they are surrounded by. And it is a very dangerous thing. When Harry said him and Meghan ran for their lives, I believe that with everything in me. Because when you do a deep dive into how these people think, they're dangerous. The way they think. They really think that Harry has done something to them, especially Willie. I mean, they got his mind all twisted up. It goes on to say his dismay is understandable, considered what William has actually asked of his father in 20 years. Very little, while giving a great deal, including his tepid public blessing to Project Queen Camilla. No, he did not. Yes, he is pretty much saying that he absolutely did not want to do it, but he did it for his father. He gave his tepid blessing for Project Queen Camilla. Isn't that something? I love it. I keep saying that the minute that Charles lets out that last breath and steps on the platform to the train to glory and get his ticket punched, Willie is going to have every rag of Camilla's on Crown property. I mean, packed up and put on the outside of the gate on the curb. Yes, he doesn't like her at all because he never fails to throw a shot at Camilla every opportunity he gets. And this is not the first time he said this. He has said that he doesn't like Camilla time and time again. Now, he won't say it to her face, but he will say it to Tom Sykes every time he takes that salty cup of tears over there for him to write an article. Yes, he doesn't like Camilla. And you can't blame him because he was old enough to see exactly what Camilla and his father did to his mother. Now, I don't know if Willie really loves his mother because he has done some questionable things, calling her paranoid and just using her for PR, but it might be some love there because it is none for Camilla. That's for sure. It goes on and says, not one word against her in public, whatever may have been said in private. He is letting it be known that some words have been exchanged in private about the bed hopper. And y'all know how Charles is about his horse. So the war is going to get really, really bad. Yes, the briefing, the planning of stories. Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace is going to go to war even more so because Willie is letting it be known that he only approved of the bed hopper tepidly. He only gave a tepid approval for the bed hopper, and that he has said some things about her in private. And that's not going to go over well with Charles. No, it says the one thing that he has asked was that Harry and Andrew be kept at arm's length from the monarchy, the exiled Duke of Windsor, as a template. My whole thing is, what did Harry do? What did Harry do to deserve that kind of treatment? What? Andrew is accused of being a pedo, hurting small children. And the Duke of Windsor was the king and he abdicated. What has Harry done that is anywhere close to those two people? I mean, he wrote a book. Is that what you're saying? He wrote a book about his own life and how the people in his life treated him. So that equates to hurting small children and abdicating the throne. But Willie is so jealous and he cannot see past his nose. You can tell his behavior, him and Kate, they are absolutely ridiculous out here cosplaying Harry and Meghan. It's crazy to me. And wait till we get to the next section. Now, that's the section where I really feel that it is something mentally impaired in Willie and Kitty. And the title of that segment is William Blames Harry and Meghan for Kate's Health Issues. Yeah, you heard it right. They blame Harry and Meghan for Kate having performative cancer. Can you believe that? That is crazy. That is another level of crazy. These two really need to seek out a mental health professional. It says it was William's wife who was monetized. And what these two crazy people are talking about is that Harry wrote about Kate in his book. And they're saying that Harry monetized Kate. Can you believe that craziness? It says William, who was accused of assault in Spare, William's family that absorbed it all during Catherine's cancer treatment, and those close to him, while careful never to say Harry caused her illness, will tell you William perceives a casual link between the stress his brother inflicted. I would be ashamed to actually say that. I mean, that is crazy. This is a man looking for a reason to hate his brother. That's all it is. He's jealous. He's envious of his brother. And he just can't come out and say that. He cannot own that. He never has owned anything in his whole life. And because of that, he has to create these fanciful stories and reasons to hate his brother and his sister-in-law. Let's not forget the infamous story about the Easter presents and Kate's baby brain. Just made up nonsense in order to justify the bullshit that they wanted to spew on Harry and Meghan. And this right here is more of it. It makes no sense to anybody who is rational. I mean, crazy. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And listen to this. It says the impatient heir. History is full of impatient heirs waiting in the wings. What history has never seen is a monarch who faced death, was rescued by medical science, and came back determined to wrestle power back from the heir who had acquired a taste for it and who believed, not without a reason, that his father is running the institution in a way that will damage it by the time it lands on him. Two thoughts. First thought, Charles never had cancer. I don't believe he ever had cancer. It was about the eggs going over his head when he first took power, when he ascended to the throne. People was not happy, and they had to find a way to get the sympathy and the empathy of the people. So they played a fake cancer card. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But to me, this is them saying that Charles ain't going anywhere, and I'm glad about it, because just the thought of Willie being at the helm, he is going to do everything he can to make Harry and Meghan's life a living hellscape. And my second thought is, what power did Willie have? He didn't have one to work when Charles was sick. So I don't know what power he had. But it goes on to say, the conflict between Charles and William is at the core of everything happening in the royal family right now. And Harry is currently a proxy battle, meaning that whoever wins the battle between, allowing Harry to have a relationship with his father or not, that is going to determine who has the power. Tell me that's crazy, because I think it is crazy. That is the craziest thing. I mean, crazy, crazy, crazy. And it looks like William was really, really starting to look forward to Charles getting on board the train to glory. Yeah, William was excited about that. And all I can say is, I hope Charles lives to be 100. That's my thought. And I don't agree with Kaiser's conclusion, so I'm not going to read it, because she is falling for the okie doke. It seems that she believes that this is about a real father and son connection when it comes to Harry and Charles. I don't believe that. I believe it was the fact that Charles was getting so much backlash because of his shenanigans about the room in Buckingham Palace. And people around the world saw how trash he was, and they could not stand. So he had to do something. And this is what he did. Not because he wanted to see his grandchildren, not because he had a real connection with his son. It is always about Charles. And that whole thing about Willie feeling that Harry and Meghan somehow caused Kitty's cancer. Well, you have to have cancer for it to be caused. So we all know Kitty hadn't had no cancer. And they can lie all they want to. But it's no evidence that Kitty has ever had cancer. And if we are to believe him, he sit in South Africa in an interview with Rihanna Mills, crossed his legs, and said that Kitty had precancerous cells, not cancer, because precancerous cells are not cancer. So I think both her and Charles were playing a fake cancer card. And for her and Willie to put this out into the universe that somehow anything that Harry and Meghan did caused Kitty to have cancer, this is them having the last gasp at trying to smear Harry and Meghan. They will never stop trying to put Harry and Meghan down in order for them to seem taller. And that's all this is about, trying to garner sympathy and also smear Harry and Meghan at the same time. It is so trash, and it tells you everything you need to know about these two human beings. What a thing to say. What a thing to put out there. They are trash, and Harry and Meghan never needs to have anything to do with those two because they're willing to go this low, and that's pretty damn low, to feign cancer and then try to blame Harry and Meghan for it. And here's what some of the squatties said about this article. The first one said, "Oh, I'm so mad about William thinking stress from Harry contribute to Kate's cancer. What about when William's vicious, relentless attacks caused Meghan's miscarriage? Not to mention the way she felt in her pregnancy with Archie." Exactly. Exactly. What about that, Willie? Talking about some abstract theory that somehow stress contributes to cancer. None of that has been proven, but we know stress contributes to miscarriage and also unalivened thoughts. Yes, we know that for a fact. The connection has been made. What about that? I cannot stand these people. And Harry needs to stay as far away from these people as he can. I'm telling you, it is insanity over there at Kensington Palace. And this other squatty said, Tom just put things on blast. Willie is not happy that his father is surviving his cancer. Where is the lie? Where is it? That's why I said Harry is the only son that cares anything for Charles. But neither one of Charles's sons gives two shits about the horse. Now, they don't care for her, but Harry does care for the old man. I do believe that. This next squatty said, aggressors are not victims of unfairness. I'm not sure what kind of warped world Sykes inhabits, but from the start, William has led the charge to undermine his brother simply because Harry is competent. Where's the lie? But it is in their warped world. We just talked about that. It is crazy in that culture of that institution. It is crazy. I mean, all of them need mental health services. From the outside looking in, if you are a rational, sane person, these people look like they're insane. And they are. And that is the reason why I think they attract these crazy people, like all these ugly old hags, skanks, toadies, haters, and derangers, because they're crazy too. It is kind recognizing kind. And this next squatty said, what a wild and crazy read. Correction, it was William who was accused of assault before Harry told the world about the violent attack. Willie had already leaked it, as I recall. It was in the tabloid rags and a book, and Willie was quite happy to glorify himself. Now he's mad. This is Willie finding excuses, finding justification for his actions. He just can't come out and say that he is jealous of his brother. He envies his brother's shine, his personality, his ability to be at ease with people, to be magnetic, his personality. And he envies him because he has a better wife. He has a wife who has the shine as well. And so he can't admit that he's jealous and he's envious. and he's liking as a human being when you compare him to his brother. So he makes up these BS excuses to justify his hatred for his brother instead of being honest with himself and just saying, I'm jealous of my brother. Always have been, always will be. And as for Kitty, she is on the same BS when it comes to Meghan. She's envious, she's jealous, and she knows she is liking when she is compared to Meghan. So she gets in her feels about all of that. Instead of deciding to up her game, she decides to try to diminish Meghan and then in return copies everything about her. It is so crazy, it's so weird, and it is so strange to watch. In real time, this woman does nothing but copy another woman that she professes to dislike. It's sick. It's sick over there at Kensington Palace. They need some medication. This squatty said Will is not king yet and can only become so the way his father did. That outweighs everything the mouthpiece could be saying. And the last squatty, I'm telling you, it's some stuff in here I'm not going to be able to say here on the YouTube, but it says Sykes is a whiny, whinging piece of SHIT. But what makes me so mad is the inference that Harry and Meghan cause Bones cancer. GD, that Biachi's cancer is effing fake. It's William briefing the media to double down their hate reporting that caused Meghan's miscarriage. Charles' reign be long, never be on William's egghead. I don't even know what that means, but that squatty was cussing so much in that post. She is absolutely livid that they even suggest that somehow Harry and Meghan are the cause of Kate's cancer. And I am right there with her. Yes, that right there is the lowest of the low of the low. And they are willing to use that cancer card as a weapon against Harry and Meghan. We all know that it's not a low they won't go, because that whole thing about Meghan made Kate cry, that was a low. But to me, this is even lower. These people, you can't do nothing with this. These people have brain rot and it's incurable. And I want to play this clip because it kind of feeds into what we've been talking about, that these people crazy. Yes, not only is that family crazy, but the royalists are crazy as well. So I'm going to play this clip and we'll talk on the other side.
It's known quite a few royal fan hitters. I wonder where you think the Harry and Meghan one sits.
The Harry situation is actually one of the biggest existential threats the palace have had. If they don't solve it longer term, when William becomes king, there will be two palaces, two courts, one in America and one in the UK, and that could be a real threat.
Now that was on the BBC. The BBC, who is supposed to be the most respected news organization in the United Kingdom. And they had people sitting on a panel saying that it will be two palaces when William becomes king. One will be in the United Kingdom and one will be in America. Tell me that's not crazy. Tell me that is not the craziest thing that you have ever heard. Harry and Meghan are private citizens with jobs, with careers, with their own lives. That has nothing to do with that family. And how in the hell is that a threat to William and Kate, who is going to be king and queen dumb as a rock of the United Kingdom? How? Explain that to me like I'm 5 years old, because I don't get it. We're living in the year of 2026. These people are talking as if they are living in the 14th century somewhere. I mean, it makes no sense. This man had the nerve to sit on a panel in the year of 2026 and said rival courts. I kid you not, about two private citizens living 5,000 miles away. I mean, it makes no sense. These people are crazy. And that is what I'm saying. Crazy people are dangerous people because what he said was so dangerous, especially when you are saying it to a crazy person who will do anything, like weaponizing your wife's performative cancer against your brother and his wife, trying to get people to hate them. And you think a person who does that won't do anything to harm his brother and his wife and his family if given the opportunity? Because if you don't believe that, I have a bridge in San Francisco for sale. Yes, and it's golden. It's made of gold. And we can make a deal on it because you're dumb as a bag of rocks. And Anne, the Duchess of Success, posted this same video and said, a threat. These weirdos still believe in the medieval times. What's even more maddening is that the royals behave as if there aren't thousands of other celebrities and events that take attention away from them daily. It's like only Harry and Meghan exist. Where's the lie? That's why it's so crazy. It just makes no sense. And this squatter reposted Anne and said, hashtag toxic British media and royal family treats Prince Harry as a threat for choosing his family's safety over being exploited by his birth family. They want to punish Harry for being the one who has the charisma, emotional intelligence, and public respect and admiration they feel should be given to William. Where's the lie? Where is it? And William feels it should be given to him. That's why he's walking around breathing fire out his nose, because he's so mad. And this squatty posted the official palace statement about Charles meeting with Harry. It says King Charles and Queen Camilla hosted the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Archie, and Princess Lilibeth at Highgrove House, and used the full titles. And this squatty said, you can tell it's trouble in paradise. Charles and Camilla wants to piss jealous Prince Ugly and his skeleton off so bad. Yeah, it's war. It's definitely war between the palaces. And this squatty posted that same statement from Buckingham Palace and said the statement didn't say Harry and Meghan. It said the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Archie, and Princess Lilibeth. Look like Buckingham Palace knows exactly what their titles are. That must be a rough day for the derangers and the royal rats who swore otherwise. Stay mad. Yes, squatties are eating this up with a spoon. Yes, they are absolutely rubbing it in the nose of the derangers, the toadies, and the ugly old hags, and the flying monkeys as well, like as if they were a puppy who has soiled the rug. Yes, just rubbing their nose in it. And Zanny Sussex posted this about Kitty being at Wimbledon and said most people would be embarrassed to hijack a trophy earned and won by another woman and turn it into a me PR stunt. Not Kate Macbeth. This is why she has no female friends, and even her sister appears to have had enough of her. She undermines other women instead of lifting them up. Where's the lie? Where is it? I want to know where it's at, because this is typical Kate. And boy, that scar is scarring in that picture, is it not? Yeah, it is. And this squatter said, did Duchess Doolittle want this, or is she just making herself the center of attention in someone else's glory and hogging the spotlight for some relevance? And the front page at that of the unaccomplished, outrageous. This is what praising mediocrity looked like. Exactly. Exactly. And she only wants to do this because she knows it will make news worldwide because of it being Wimbledon. Yeah, so this is why she wants to do this. It's so sad. It's so sad. And this squatty said, can someone explain why this woman is on the front page holding a trophy won by another woman who is not even in the picture? Ridiculous. Yeah, yeah, and I bet they made arrangements for this to be exactly like this. But I bet you it's not like that in America and around the world. No, it is going to be who won holding the trophy in the picture. And Harry and Meghan loves always win. She got me on this one. She did. I'm telling you, Doolittle standing there with her mouth agape. Ooh, spot on. And she nailed Kitty's Joker smile. It says, all I've seen all day is this woman's face, never done anything that since joining the cult, and they expect us all to fawn over her. Sorry, but I won't. And something else happened I want to touch on. When they all walked in, it wasn't that much applause. This squatty who posted the video, and I'm telling you, it was sparse on the applause. It says, notice how the people hardly clapped, and in fact, they didn't look too pleased either. Yeah. I mean, nobody got up and gave them a roaring standing ovation. They just clapped. And to me, it's so stupid. Why are you clapping for these people who just slipped out of the right birth canal? I mean, just slip right out and you have to clap for them, bow to them. It makes no sense. And also George and Charlotte was there as well, and they looked so uncomfortable as they did the year before. They are not exposing these children to diverse people. And you can tell every time they come in contact with diversity, you can see how uncomfortable they are. They are so uncomfortable. They don't know what to do with themselves. And George, to me, George looks disgusted. He seemed disgusted by these diverse people, people with handicaps, people who are different colors and religions than he is. He seems very, very disgusted. And I hate to say that about a 12-year-old, but it's true. And he looked the same way last year. And it's not his fault. It's his parents' fault. And in closing, it's a few more things I want to say. This squatty right here, I wanted to put this into the podcast. It says, I wonder how Chucky felt when he saw Princess Diana's look-alike Princess Lilibeth with her blue eyes. Also wondered how Camilla felt seeing Lily. Wonder if for a second their conscience pricked them. Probably not, because I don't think those two have a conscience. You're right. I bet if anything, they felt some animosity towards her because they hated Diana. And they know when they look in the face of Lily and when they see Harry out and about doing the work, they know in their hearts what they thought they had accomplished, they didn't accomplish. And that was to erase Diana's legacy off the face of the earth. And one thing I just relish in when it comes to the horse, no matter what she does, it doesn't matter. She will never, ever, ever outgrow the shadow of Diana. And y'all know a lot of people are saying that the reason this whole reunion took place is because of Diana, because the Windsors didn't want to be seen as the one who turned away Diana's grandchildren while the Spencers were opening their arms. And I really feel that that had something to do with it. And also, I want to talk about Travelers. It says Travelers, founded by Prince Harry in 2019, will be celebrating their 5-year anniversary at Climate Week in New York City. Yes, Harry will be going to New York City for Climate Week. Can't wait. Cannot wait for our favorite prince to hit the Big Apple. And also this right here, Meghan, when she went to Australia, y'all remember she was on MasterChef. Well, that is going to air Sunday, the 26th July. And I'm hoping that we might get to see it on YouTube. I will be looking for it. I will. All right, y'all, I'm going to end it on those two positive notes. Y'all know I always enjoy my time with y'all, and I will see you soon. And if you want to support the channel, so many ways to do that. Look in my bio. I have Zelle, I have PayPal, I have Buy Me a Coffee. And if you want to support me here on YouTube, just look below your screen, and that is the super thanks. Or you can become a channel member, and it is a link below. And you will be a member of the reading club. Now, if you don't want to do it on YouTube, you can go to patreon.com/theroyalread. I have a reading club over there as well. You can go over there and support me. And you can just get a free membership and just keep up with what I am doing over there. I'm always posting. I run into something on these internet streets and I'll post it over there, especially if I think I can't get away with it here on the YouTube. Like I said, just get a free membership if you don't want to support over there. Also, if you have the hype button and you have some hypes left over, hype your girl up, because it really helps the podcast. It pushes it out to new eyeballs, and it really, really helps to grow the channel. And of course, we want our tribe to get bigger. We do. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.